Hello there and welcome to a very new video, and this is on a completely different channel. In fact, as you may have noticed by the channel name Wonderland Warriors, this is all about a RPG project that I've been developing since December of 2022, and it's just a fun little side project, and I'm deciding to use this channel as a way to archive and document a bunch of crap from this particular RPG project that I'm working on. As you can see, it's called Wonderland Warriors, and the idea is it's set in sort of like an Alice in Wonderland themed world. It follows the story of Alice. In this case, she's been brought to Wonderland as a chosen one of sorts by the White Rabbit to battle the Queen of Hearts, who has taken over Wonderland after a dreaded war that occurred many years ago, and she experiments on the inhabitants of Wonderland, turning them into monsters, mutants, and what have you. You got obviously your car guards and other things like that from the books and films and video games and all other Alice in Wonderland sort of media. And so the very first setting, as you can probably see on screen, is a very bare-bone basic, run-down volcano village. This village has been plonked down by a volcano, with no regards to safety. You see cracks and, these citizens who are, dreading the worst. They just want to evacuate. They can't. You got very basic enemies for this first area. You got bats, you got card guards as well. Currently, there isn't a final boss, which is meant to be in this area. When you progress through to the volcano, you're meant to fight this big executioner boss. Haven't really come up with the design yet for that. A lot of the other designs are are sketches which have been sort of, dare I say, upped via, other sources, I should say. So, for example, there's a floating eyeball which was done in paint and then, given a bit of an upgrade via software online. Everything is, at the moment, very bare bones basic. This is meant to be bare bones basic. One of the things that I kind of wanted to do was create sort of a game which, uses regular resources as opposed to resources which other people, have installed or, added plugins in. This is meant to, show that anyone can make sort of an RPG game. By the way, this is using RPG Maker in case you're curious. At the moment, it's very bare bones, very basic. There's a lot of missing features, a lot of missing things. Only 2 areas have actually been sort of completed, and even then, it's not actually been completed. One of the things that I kind of wanted to do is it's sort of split off into different levels. So, this first area is this, volcanic village. Then the next area is going to be, this Wonderland Wood, right by a river and all that. The third area, I should say, is this haunted house area. And one of the things I kind of wanted to do was that each area has their own unique enemy, sets. So, you can randomly encounter an enemy which happens to fit the theme of that particular area. There's also a bit of storytelling and everything else to, add interest to the story, to give a bit of world building. Throughout this adventure, or throughout the first part of this adventure, you're just playing as Alice and Cheshire being obviously the Cheshire Cat. But because of the way this game is working, because of the way models work in this game, I really didn't want to use the sort of furry-esque, animal human hybrid things. And in a way that kind of helped with the idea that the Queen of Hearts is using, the citizens and mutating them and turning them into monsters, and Cheshire just happens to be one of these, mutated abominations that has somehow gotten free. And as for names, well, White Rabbit sounds very weird, doesn't it? But I sort of got inspiration from that, from the, a 2010 miniseries that I believe was on Canadian TV, which, had very similar. It had humans, but they had weird names like Caterpillar or March Hare, White Rabbit, and you can tell they're meant to represent those particular characters. So far, like I said, this is a very bare bones basics, and what you're watching on screen is very bare bone and very basic. All the characters, models, what have you, have been created through the character generator. There's no edits made whatsoever, except for maybe the Mad Hatter, but we haven't seen him yet. The reason why is because I wanted to give him an actual, top hat with the 10 out of 6 on the side, although you can barely see it in pixelation. But, here it is at the moment. Here it is, just dawdling about. Hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of commentary as well. I'm hoping to deliver commentary on different sections of the game. Maybe I'll talk about Area 1 and Area 2 and Area 3. Talk about the characters, talk about the enemies, to give a bit more detail on each element that goes into Wonderland Warriors. But for the time being, this is it. This is its build process, I guess you could say. I might be planning to do all the areas first rather than create the enemies and do other bits, game moments, your trigger events, etc. But hey, we'll see when we get there.